Residents in the community that still have essential trips that need to be made on a daily basis, well, Cheyenne Transit Program has a solution.
Tossing it out to Sean Boyd, who also has an update with us for the road closures. Sean?
Well, folks, that's right. It's not quite the winter wonderland out here today, but it's cold, it's frigid, and it's a gloomy day. So if you really don't have to travel, I would suggest staying inside, making a little chili, or perhaps some stew. Light a fire and watch some Sunday Night Football. The Hells Angels No Match chapter in Wyoming ignites a street cleanup initiative, as they call it, cleaning up their share of America. The majority are ready to end the stay-at-home orders and get back to work. Well, Next Care Urgent Care is providing rapid COVID testing, curbside care for residents. Projects like the Christensen Bridge that I stand in front of serve as the new gateway for the expansion of southeastern Wyoming. Well, I like to play with this guy named Panda on Tekken 6, so I mean, he works out just fine.
Fair enough, right?
Breast cancer is one of the few cancers that, when detected early, there is a high survival rate. Laramie County School District number 1 students got their in-person graduation ceremony Friday. Today's events will be remembered, but not without reflecting on the hurdles these seniors overcame.
And whereas the class of 2020 has experienced something powerful and profound, you have faced adversity unlike anything we have experienced in modern times, and you did not falter.
Class of 2020, you are most certainly relevant. Please continue to be relevant, stay involved.
LCSD-1 found a unique way to celebrate its graduates after continued coronavirus social gathering restrictions scaled back plans for traditional ceremonies. With the governor's orders, Laramie County School District number 1 was able to provide an in-person graduation for the class of 2020 and their families. Now, after speaking with a committee member, they said in years past, traditionally, ceremonies take place at the respective school stadium, but this year, they get to walk across the big stage and receive their diplomas here from Frontier Park. Did you know the Declaration of Independence was drafted on hemp paper? According to a Forbes magazine article, even the finest Bible paper today remains hemp-based.
Hemp does a lot of things. For fiber, you know, it makes parachutes, it makes rope, it makes hempcrete, it makes hemp board, almost a fire-resistant house when you're done with it.
Back on March 6 of 2019, Governor Mark Gordon signed a bill that would legalize hemp growing for farmers. Tim Anderson says his 25 acres of hemp plants is just the beginning of American evolution.
Wyoming, you gotta love a tree because they're non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, so we love trees, but you gotta make paper out of something. Here's your paper plates, here's your paper straws, here's your paper cups, here's your paper towels, toilet paper, all of it.
So with the legalization of the hemp growing in the state of Wyoming, the question still remains, can the hemp tree actually grow and flourish in the Wyoming soil? Well, Tim Anderson and Green Tree Ag are looking to put that theory to the test.
Do that much in a week.
So what's the typical growing like for it?
Well, it'll get 10 foot tall probably.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we're not chopping down trees to make houses. We're using a renewable resource that is going to work for everybody, and it's renewable every year, doesn't take a generation to grow a forest.
Currently, Prairie Farms harvests 6 different styles of crop, ranging from barley to corn and now hemp. Anderson says he intends to get in on the ground level of the booming industry, claiming he will have a tour for politicians and state patrol to show he is growing his hemp legally. As southeastern Wyoming expands, various transportation projects are in the works. One specific plan will connect I-80 to Dell Range. The Cheyenne Metropolitan Planning Organization says it's in need of the community's input.
They play a very important role in ensuring that the public is involved. So the public's comments, their desires, their wishes, they're listened to, and they're incorporated in the best way possible.
The MPO stated the various projects take decades to handle the growth of the community.
And with more residential and business growth on the east side of town, we knew that we needed another location to cross the railroad track. This new crossing is probably going to be the last crossing of the railroad track we're going to see for many, many, many decades.
The MPO director says it's in the middle of the plan's preparation, and the community's input will definitely fuel the discussion. Projects like the Christensen Bridge that I stand in front of serve as the new gateway for the expansion of southeastern Wyoming.
And again, most importantly, to do that survey. We're going to keep that survey open for one more week until Friday the 29th. So we really are asking folks to go to that and help us out and help us develop our next 25-year transportation plan.
Reporting in Laramie County, Sean Boyd with Wyoming News Now. Our first responders rushed to the fight on COVID-19.
So being on the front line, we get exposed to some of those things. I'm not sure if you're aware of, there were 7 of us that were quarantined that had positive exposure from somebody that was positive.
The dangers of being asymptomatic and not knowing if they are bringing the disease home to their families prompts antibody testing for Cheyenne local agencies.
We want to make sure that we don't take this stuff home to our families. That's an important part. We're wearing the proper PPE, the mask, the gloves, the gowns when it's needed. But it doesn't mean that we can't be what they call those asymptomatic carriers.
A nurse practitioner, Jennifer Boxberger, of a nearby urgent care facility, stated early testing, before being certain on what we are looking for, can put many lives in danger.
Can kind of see what it means for them and see what this, but to implement it before we have that information could be very dangerous. Imagine if you're told, hey, you have this antibody, you can't get sick, and so you act accordingly, and then you wind up getting sick because we didn't really have a good understanding. In some ways, that's worse than what we're currently doing.
Wyoming Unclaimed Property paid out more than $5 million to current and former residents of Wyoming in the fiscal year that concluded June 30th.
As sad as it is, that's a drop in the bucket compared to other states. You get states like New York that get over $1 billion turned over in a year.
The number of checks issued is a 32.5% increase over the previous record that was set 1 year earlier. You might say, is this too good to be true? But according to the Unclaimed Properties of Wyoming State Treasury, all it takes is a few clicks to see if you have money in your name.
Hey, this check was never cashed. It was to Sean. He was in Wyoming, so they will turn around. There's a reporting period every November. All the businesses are supposed to report all their unclaimed property to each of the states. Wyoming's is November. Other states may have. The important thing to remember is it's always turned over to the state of the last known address. So if you've lived in other states, you want to also check those states you've lived in as well, because it may have been turned over at that point. It depends on the complexity of the claim, but a lot of times if it's fast-tracked and less than $250, you'll probably get your check back in about two to 3 weeks.
Robertson says if you compare the claims paid in 2020 to 2019, there were only 74 checks that exceeded $10,000 this year. 143 of the checks issued in 2019 exceeded the $10,000 mark. After speaking with the Lady Thunderbirds, emotions are running high when dealing with the pressures of not being able to play their senior season. And here's what they had to say.
I didn't have a chance to go all out my senior season.
A group of lady soccer players laced their cleats for their 2019 season finale. But did they know that would be the last game of their high school careers? The East High ladies soccer team, led by 5 seniors, didn't get a chance to chase the state championship in 2020.
That's the hardest thing for me to kind of wrap my brain around, is that I played my last game without even knowing it. And so
her coach, Rebecca Valdez, says it was tough to not see her kids play the senior season.
I was really excited for them this year to show, what they could do on the field again. So it's been sad. And, these girls, I love these girls. They've helped me a ton just transition to the position.
Going forward, all 5 of the young ladies have their sights on collegiate futures. Erin Grice wants to pursue her soccer dreams locally, wearing the gold and blue.
Things can be taken away from you so quickly, so I want to be able to, when it does start, hit the ground running and be able to make my impact right away and just be there for the team.
May 8th's game would have been the senior night to the season that never was. In Cheyenne, Sean Boyd, Wyoming News Now.